Roll it.
Rolling.
Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Port Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Life Podcast.
Welcome to the Towing Life Podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are loaded, but the drivers are not. I am your host, TowManG, and as usual, I am joined by my friend, co-host, and former co-worker, the no-chain wonder himself, Mr. PlainGuy.
What is going on, G? What is going on?
I just got in from work, brought the tow truck home, and you know what the funniest thing was? I got out, I walked up to my front door, I unlocked the door, and I locked the tow truck, and then I heard the radio start playing. It's like, what? I walked back out to the truck, the dash is all off, and the radio's just blaring.
Gotta be a Dodge.
It is.
It is. That sounds like a Dodge thing. They have their awesome problems.
Yeah.
I remember having a GM that read the text messages to you, right? You had the option, read, listen, whatever it was. And when you would go listen, it would misinterpret like a photo. If somebody sent you a photo and it would just 712389776 and it wouldn't stop. You could hit the hang up button, you could shut it off, you could restart it. It would not come out of that mode. I don't know what it was. God, it was frustrating. God, it was stupid.
Especially with us liking to share photos between each other.
Oh, because you'd hit read not knowing what it is, right? The whole point of having this system is to not have to look at your phone. So you think it would just say image. No, it would give, I don't know if it was the file name. I don't know if it was trying to read the photo in code at the matrix. I don't know what was happening, but God, it was annoying.
Wow.
So, before we get too far into it, G, today, we do want to mention, first of all, it is Tuesday. Christmas is coming. It is right around the corner. I guess it's this weekend coming. Yeah. So Merry Christmas to all you guys. I hope you get some time off with your family. I hope you get to hit your meals.
I hope you started shopping already because I haven't.
I will be the first to admit this is one of the first years that I am completely done my shopping. That being said, I bought for one person, and that was my wife. My wife bought for everybody else. But I wrapped her present. I only have to shop for her, and I tend to always forget her. I wait till the last minute, whatever it is, and I'm that asshole. I'm always that guy. So this year, I actually ordered the gift. It came in early. I even wrapped it today. I'm about a week ahead of time. I'm loving it. It's a good feeling. It's a good
for
feeling.
You, man. Good for you.
So, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, anything you want to talk about on the show, you can email us at thetowinglife@gmail.com. You can visit the Facebook page at the Towing Life Podcast on Facebook. And new this week, you'll have seen the post. We've been running it. You can now call into the show and leave a voicemail. We have not tried it with the US callers. I would love for you guys to try. If you're watching up over on YouTube, you will see it up in the top corner. The number is there for any of the audio listeners. It is simple. 249-666-2209. They'll be hit with a prompt to press 1 to leave a message. Leave the message. We get it. We will do our best to play it on the show. I know it could be hard to sit there, get the email, whatever. You guys are in the truck. Save that number. Anytime you're listening and you get a thought that you need us to hear, some bullshit that we said that you want to call us out on, feel free. Again, 249-666-2209. We will be sure to include them in the show if we can, as long as you guys keep it somewhat PG. Don't forget to, tell us where you're calling from, all that good stuff.
This is going to backfire on us,
Oh, absolutely. This is a terrible fucking idea.
We're chock full of terrible ideas all the time.
It's absolutely a terrible idea, but we got to do it anyway. So yeah, you can, like I said, you can email us. You can find us on Facebook. You can visit the website, towinglife.ca. We are everywhere, guys. There's a contact us form there. There's a couple new things that have gone up on the website. The phone number is also there. We're just trying to keep bringing you guys more and more information and entertainment, to be honest.
Yeah, we're just trying to be everywhere and anywhere at any time.
If
So
you guys are listening on the audio side, you are missing out. He is rocking I don't know what you want to call this. We've got the plaid bomber hat mixed with what do you call that? A Canadian tuxedo?
I've been trying. The first time I wore this, you're like, I want to make a comment about that on the show, and you didn't. So I wore it again, and you still didn't. So now it's the third time my Canadian tuxedo is making an appearance. Finally, something has been said.
Between the half-ass green screen in the back, the reindeer sitting down in the corner. We've had talks about this reindeer already. Signs on the wall. Now the Canadian tuxedo matched with the bomber hat inside. It is definitely something to be seen. You guys can find this on YouTube. I believe YouTube /
the Towing Life podcast.
/ the Towing podcast.
I've been wearing this all day, and my hair is just a mess, and it would not fit my ball cap. So I was like, screw it. The hat stays on.
We're going to make things a little easier. We're just going to leave the bomber hat on, and the hell with it.
It's also nice because it can become a hands-free device pretty quick. Boom. Outside of the truck, just rocking around with the phone. I look like a damn idiot, but hey, it works.
You're wearing the long sleeve jean jacket shirt, and you're worried about looking like an idiot because you got your cell phone tucked into your bomber hat.
Well, I could fold it up like this, you know.
There you go. Nanook of the North is joining us live on this episode of the Towing Life podcast. You never cease to amaze me. One of these days you will, but
not today. Not today. Holiday schedules. We are fast approaching Christmas, and what are you guys out there doing for the holiday season? Do you guys have an updated schedule? Do you guys draw straws? What type of things do you do in your company? We want to hear from you. I know we've both worked for the same company that had an awesome idea that came up for Who Works Christmas. And I've worked for other companies where just it's the same schedule. Just if you got to work, you got to work, right? You're always going to have the guys that try to get it off or switch the shifts. And I've always been a firm believer is I don't have kids. I'll work Christmas Day. If you want Christmas Day off to have with your kids, be my guest. Go for it. You got to ask me. I'm not just going to offer it. And coming up this close now, it's no, I've already made plans. I'm sorry. If you asked me a month ago, sure. Right? Because then I can plan my Christmas accordingly. And I hope someone would have the decency of asking ahead of time, not just a week before Christmas.
No, that's fair. It's always been a tricky one, right? Like I said, we worked for the same place. They had a really great commission system. They never had a problem finding anybody to work because they would just offer you 100% commission for Christmas Day, meaning whatever you billed, you took home.
Yeah. I made like $700 one Christmas.
Yeah.
And it was a slow Christmas.
Yeah. And they lose money on that, right? And they know that they lose money on it, but if you're going to sacrifice being with the family, the least they can do is be something worth your while. I know I've always been lucky. I haven't worked Christmas in a long time. And that was because I spent a lot of time away from home. I was living 4 or 5 hours away from my family, right? My wife was with me in that, but our immediate family, our parents, our grandparents, all that, were always about 4 to 5 hours away. So normally, if I got the chance, I would take the time, I would take it off, and I would actually go down, see them. And a lot of people were understanding to that, right? Because some people could work. It was an on-call basis normally on Christmas. So they could go home, spend some time with their family. I didn't have that option. If it was, if I was on call, I was spending it alone because I wouldn't make my wife sit through it. I would send her home. So I've always been lucky with that. But no, it was definitely, if you had young kids, you always tried to give priority to them. Where I'm at now, it's a seniority system. What we did is we pretty much put it out to the drivers and we said we have 6, it's a skeleton crew. Unless there's calling for a snowstorm, it's a skeleton crew. But we put it out and we said, okay, these are the 6 shifts to cover. Whatever it was, we split up Christmas Day, midnight to noon, noon to midnight. Right? These are the 6 shifts that need to be covered. You guys, seniority, first guy goes in, takes a couple shifts. Second guy goes in, takes a couple shifts. Third guy goes in, takes a couple shifts. And whatever's left, management picks up. right? So that way, and for the most part, the guys were great. The guys sat there and went, all, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, everything, I had to cover, I think I'm covering New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve and the 2nd of January, I think, is the way that worked out. So they were great at having everything covered, and it was a good split. If you worked Christmas, you didn't really work New Year's. And if you had kids, well, you worked New Year's because, Christmas was a big deal. This industry is tough to get that time away. So, it's great to see when the operators will take it among themselves, sort it out, and take into account what everyone's needs and wants are to make Christmas scheduling a lot easier.
Now, if you've got the manpower to do that, that's awesome. But if you're in a smaller company where it's only 2 or 3 guys, you're pretty much jolly well fucked regardless, right?
Yeah.
You just hope it's a slow day. And you take your lumps and you just try to plan your things accordingly, right?
We know how Christmas goes. It's been a while, but you would normally get Christmas morning, it's dead. If you're gonna get busy, it's gonna be normally about the 10 to 11 a.m. to about 4 to 5 p.m. Right? Christmas morning, everyone's opening their gifts to their kids. Everyone's in. No one's going anywhere Christmas morning. And then they're traveling. Right? They're traveling. Once the kids open their gifts, they do all their things. Then they're traveling to the in-laws, the this, the that. Then normally, once that dinner time rolls around, everyone's in again. You might get a little bit, again, depending on roads, depending on weather, right? But Christmas couldn't fall in the summertime, especially up here in the north.
And that's the thing that's one of the holidays people are going to drive regardless of the weather conditions. If they're going out for a birthday party and the roads are bad, sorry, but your luck. We'll reschedule. Yep. You're not rescheduling Christmas. It's just not happening. So everyone's out on the roads traveling with even the week leading up to Christmas. I've done quite a few unlocks in the last 2 days of people taking food out to their cars and accidentally bumping the locks while it's warming up in their driveway, right? Shit like that happens. And you just got this influx of vehicles that probably they could be coming up from the city or traveling in areas that they don't know. And that's when bad things start happening. Right?
I wonder how much more we'll see with vehicles that have been parked, right? We're seeing a lot of that this year, a lot of boosts. In our area, boosts are on the way, are up. Mainly because of COVID. A lot of people are working from home and they're not using the car as much. Then when they go to use the car doesn't start. I wonder if all these vehicles that have been sitting haven't been being used as much. This is when they're going to travel. Do we see an influx based on that? Right? It's hard to really break those numbers down and really see that. You know what I mean?
I'm already starting to see an influx of people trying to move these vehicles to clear snow. Right? It might start and they run it for 2 minutes to move from here to there and it turns off. And then come the next day, it doesn't start. I had a Jeep this morning. Lady, her boyfriend moved it, and she called into her roadside saying the brakes are hard, the steering wouldn't move, check engine lights on, it won't start. I get there, and I was like, oh, so what's wrong? She's like, it's not starting, and the brakes are hard. I was like, well, the brakes are going to be hard if the vehicle's not running.
No booster.
She didn't know that. And a lot of people don't. It is what it is. I was like, so I popped her hood, and sure enough, put the battery pack on. It was reading 9.7. Boost. Don't have to tow. Don't have to dolly your Jeep. Thank you very much. See you later.
Dollies? I thought you were done with dollies. I thought you became Captain Flatbed.
That was a royal cluster. The bed that we ordered showed up with a Killar bed, not a Jordan bed. So that's not what we ordered. So we returned that to fucking sender. See you later. Get that junk out of here. I'm not sure any of you out there, you run Killar beds. Please do let me know, because I took one look at it and I saw all the cotter pins in it, and I was like, this just seems like junk. I know one guy had a Killar bed, 1 year in, had to replace the whole wiring harness on the whole bed. Like, that's it is what it is.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been spoiled with NRC beds most of my life. And the other day I got a good hard look at a smaller Dodge with a Vulcan bed.
Yeah.
I hope nobody from Miller is listening.
They're underbuilt compared to NRC.
Tie-down slots.
Yeah.
There wasn't any.
Yeah.
The only front tie-down slot is that stupid little hook on the headache rack, if you know what I'm talking about. The grab
and
hook
the
they put
rail
up there?
pockets they don't go all the way through now. They've got a plate in the bottom.
Yeah, that I don't mind.
Yeah, but you think if you cut that plate out, how many more options do you have for sea cans, bikes, whatever, right? The
You're talking
holes
about
are
where you
there.
drop
Just
the
let 'em
chain
go
in to
through.
latch it? There's a plate underneath?
Yeah, where the rail pockets would be, right? On the outer part of the bed. I know
I was just amazed that there's no options for moving straps around. It's pretty much, here's your 4 spots on your bed, and that's it. Good luck to you. Hope you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And after going to NRCs, and I've even seen some of those Rikas where they had slots up the middle. So when you're doing equipment and different things, like, I couldn't believe it when I seen this Vulcan bed, and I went to, remember what I was doing. I went to hook something up, and I went, what the hell am I going to do with this?
It's made for cars and cars alone, pretty much.
Yeah.
The car carrier.
There's no versatility for it. Absolutely. Get yourself a good old fashioned NRC. I've never looked at the, what do you call it? A Killar bed?
I don't know. Killar. It showed up. It was supposed to be a Jordan bed, and we're like, that's not a Jordan bed. And this is how they get you. The ad said it was one of the international things with a Jordan bed unit. Nowhere on the paperwork did it say any name of any car carrier. It just said this truck with a car carrier. All throughout the paperwork, all with the leasing company, everything. And it showed up on our doorstep, and we said, this is not what we wanted. This is not what we thought we were getting. And that's how they get you. We bought it out of the States. I'm not going to say the company's name because that's just throwing someone right under the bus. But I'm assuming we've heard from one other person. That's what they did with them too. And they got them in a position where they've already sold that truck and they were expecting this new bed to be there at that day. And it got there, not what they wanted, but they didn't have a choice. They needed it on the road.
Well, I seen one of your operators post something up driving the bed, the Freightliner. Is that the new?
That's the new one.
Okay.
We got a new Freightliner extended cab with a 22-foot Jordan bed. It's a nice truck.
Yeah.
The toolboxes, they mounted them right up by the cab, and they're like 72 inches long. Beautiful toolboxes, beautiful wood trays at the top. Oh, it's a nice truck.
Gee, how the hell did we go from Christmas to this?
And the bed locks are like a foot and a half back off like the headache rack.
Yeah.
So we're going to really see how much that wheel lift can lift without something on the bed. Because with having the bed locks further back, you would think,
a little more stability, a little more room to play. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For Christmas, you got a headache rack, you got a stationary headache rack on your tow truck? Put some Christmas lights on it.
Hey, we've got drivers driving around right now with Christmas hats on. Ever since the Santa Claus parade, they've been coming into work every day wearing elf hats or Santa hats or something. They have a good time with it. The community seems to really enjoy it. We did a great toy drive. We had a great turnout. You know what? I'm excited. I'm never excited for Christmas. I'm excited for Christmas. It's been a good year. Guys have worked very hard. It's been an early start to snow, right? I remember years that, our boss was golfing on Christmas Eve. That's not happening this year. It's the 19th, 20th, give or take, and you ain't golfing.
I saw a motorcyclist on the road the other day. He was following a fire engine with his lights on, and this guy that was pulled over behind me flipped a U-turn to follow the fire truck and the motorcycle. Like, it was close. It made my heart skip a beat thinking this motorcyclist was going to plow right into the side of this car flipping a U-turn. But yeah, in December. What was that bike one that we said? The road. There was snow yesterday, but the roads are dry today.
Yeah.
Diehards. Yeah.
The diehards, I think, finally will have to be putting the bikes back away in Ontario. The snow is here to stay. I don't think it's going anywhere. We had a couple dustings, then some 17-degree weather. It is here to stay now. It is not going away. They are put away. If you are out riding your bike in this weather, you are something else.
What? The salt, like, to be honest with you, if I owned a motorcycle like that, it wouldn't be any different than like a classic car. I wouldn't ride it until the street sweepers have been out to get all the
rain,
salt.
Right? That was the big thing. It used to rain. They'd wait till the rain happened.
Yeah, get all that road grime off. But let's switch this back into towing a little bit. A YouTube channel, a very popular YouTube channel called Matt's Off-Road Recovery.
I don't know how popular it is. I never heard of it.
He's got, I think, 300,000 subscribers, 500,000 now.
He's half the size of us.
Stand-up dude, Matt. I've watched his videos. I've talked to him through his live streams. Awesome guy, stand-up guy.
Clearly not.
If you've ever seen any of his videos, just how he interacts with people on a daily basis is just he's up here. He's up here.
How he conducts his business.
So now you don't know what this is about. I came to you with this.
Yes.
So Matt's off-road recovery or winter towing. He runs with a couple of major roadsides. Is being charged with second-degree felony fraud. So what has happened is he was doing club calls or roadside calls and not physically doing that exact call. So someone would say, hey, can you get this piece of equipment from here to there for me? That's what we do. That's our job. We move shit. And he would come to the company and say, hey, well, I have this roadside. I would like to use this roadside to pay for this service. And Winter Towing said, sure, we can come to an agreement. And it would always go from this point to that point, from what he has said. He's never just made a false call and not moved a truck, right? That truck's always gone from point A to point B of where that call says. He just might not be moving that car that would be covered under said roadside. Now, I know a lot of people do this. Regardless of, someone called for a winch on their pickup truck and they get there and it's a lawnmower stuck in their lawn, right? That's technically fraud then, right? If you do it and you get caught, that's technically fraud. That's what they're saying here. We've got a link to a couple different articles. I think we got one, a link to one. I'll get you another link of a couple of different things. But that's kind of scary. He's being charged for $15,000 worth of stuff that has been done, but isn't supposed to have been done, which is a pretty serious accusation. And he can also face jail time, I think up to 10 years for the maximum sentence, which is a long time. Granted, I've heard from a couple different people, they don't normally give out the maximum sentence, especially since he is working with authorities. And this guy, he just ran a promotional offer of badges, and he raised $30,000 to go to the local police department to help some charities in that area. Like, this guy gives back all the time. You always see him throughout all summer long, all winter long, giving back to the community that he's a part of and has grown up in. And it's just nice to see. Now, I feel like he's always done this with good intentions in his heart, trying to help someone out, because that's what it is, right? I'm sure if you've ever got the phones, you'll have someone say, hey, can you do this for that? Like, I don't have that much money, but I do have this roadside. Would you be able to do it for that?
Yeah, move a buddy, do that kind of thing, move some gear equipment around. Yep. And
I'm not sure about you, but I know some of these roadsides have approved some stuff that they really shouldn't have approved before in the past.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
100%.
So if I'm thinking, okay, well, they've approved this before, they probably approved this as well.
Problem is, that's not our decision to make.
It's not our decision to make.
That is not our decision. The roadside is our customer. The customer is the roadside's customer.
Yep.
Meaning is the roadside's call. I'm reading up the article because I thought it was a little deeper dive than what you said, but no, I'm reading a lot of the same thing. Yeah. Another claim described in a story in insurance business, AAA paid Wetzel $2,800 each for 3 tows to Salt Lake City from his base in Hurricane, Utah. According to IB, the customer told investigators that Wetzel had actually transported construction materials, not towed vehicles. So you're right. He did do the distance. It's not that he just sat at home and ran a AAA call through and collected the payment on it. But, I mean, 3 tows for $2,800. The hell?
I don't think that's each. I think that's total.
Wetzel, $2,800 each for 3 tows.
Wow.
So you're at $9,000. You're almost $9,000. Yeah, throw that into Canadian funds, you're at like $100,000. I don't know. Version is terrible one of these days.
Yeah, that's a lot of Maple Leafs. Okay.
But I mean, it's one thing to move a buddy's car across town.
Yeah.
when you start, and by the sounds of it, one of them got busted because he posted a video of it.
Yeah, so he does a lot of off-road recoveries as well in like the sand dunes, and he never talks about payment in any of his videos, which is a good thing. I know his rates are fairly reasonable to begin with, but you and I both know most roadsides don't cover off-road recoveries.
No, definitely not Polaris RZRs in a trail.
And that's just the thing. So you get a call for something that should be covered. You get out there and you realize this really isn't covered, but you're there anyways and you can do the job. I know I've been in that position before, and roadside companies have said, if you can get them, we'll cover it.
It depends on the job. Again, I'm not saying, like you said, he even admits that it was probably wrong on the front side, right on the back side.
Yeah.
Meaning, you know, he did it with good intentions. It wasn't malicious. He did do the driving, but he definitely made a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
And one that they're probably going to hang him for.
Yeah. I hope they don't just slap him on the wrist. They hit him with the fine. Pay the fine. Just keep him out of the jail time. Pay the money. Do some community service. He's obviously a very active member in the community. His one son, Rudy, he's a Canadian. I would love to get him on the show. If any one of our listeners knows Rudy or any of the crew down at Matt's Off-Road Recovery, get them in touch with us. I'd love to have, or we'd both love to have one of them on our show just to see the difference of the towing world and the off-road recovery as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, it leaves a sour taste in my mouth because, you know, this guy's an open book. If you can go on his YouTube channel and you can see almost everything that these guys do. And you can just see that they're good, kind-hearted people. And yeah, they've done some shady shit. But haven't we all? That's what this industry has been built on, unfortunately. Shady shit. Right? And we've got to work, and I mean work, to get ourselves out of that and get the industry as a whole away from that branding.
Yeah, and doing things that he did isn't exactly helping, right?
No.
It isn't exactly helping. So yeah, he put fraudulent AA calls through, AAA calls. He did you're right, he drove the distance. It's hard to nail this guy to the cross and just be like, you know, remember there was a story of a guy who quit one time? You ever hear that story? There's a guy that quit the company we worked for. And on his last day, he put through a CAA call. I can say it. I don't care. Nope. Put your hand down. I can say it. It was a CAA call. Through to, you know, have a tow, go out to, you know, God knows where. Maximum kilometers. And he went home. And he was expecting to get paid for it. Right? He was going to write the mileage. This was before the tablets, before the tracking, before all of that. And the company called him out, and I do know for a fact that the roadside didn't pay, and that's why I have no problem mentioning the roadside, because they did not get frauded in that case.
Yeah.
The company gave good for it, and it was 7-8 years ago. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, that is major fraudulent.
Yeah.
What this guy did, although it is not right, and especially, you know, again, it's one thing across town, 3 $2,800 bills.
Yeah.
And God, you know you're asking for it.
Yeah.
First of all, who's hauling construction material for those rates? I get trying to help a buddy out, but
I'm not
don't put
sure how
yourself out
far
of business.
Hurricane is from Salt Lake
I'm guessing
City.
far if those are roadside rates and it's $3,000.
Well, he could be getting like a heavy rate or something, depending on what it got put through.
Maybe.
I know some roadsides pay a pretty good heavy rate.
Yeah, and a company like AAA, a company like CAA, have the resources to fight these kind of things. So, you know, I doubt he'll get let off easy. Obviously, his contract's gone. I think that's a gimme.
Yeah.
He won't be a provider for those roadsides anymore, but you know, hopefully he learns his lesson, and hopefully he keeps doing things for the good and just thinks about how he does them a little better.
That is one nice thing about this whole situation is hopefully something like this isn't going to kill him and his business. Like, he's got the YouTube channel that's got to bring in some revenue. He's got Kinetic Ropes. He has his own brand of kinetic ropes. He's partnered with Yankum Ropes, which they make some pretty good kinetic ropes. And he's got the Matt's Off-Road Recovery rope. It's yellow because that's his color. And he's got other avenues. And especially with the YouTube channel, he has people traveling to Utah and burying their vehicles just to give them a call because you get a free t-shirt. I kind of wanted to go take my 1-ton down there. My 1-ton's horrible in sand and just bury it. Just
Not
to
a
me.
bad deal. You can use your roadside, get a free t-shirt, and everybody's happy. I can see how this deal would go wrong real fast. Jeez.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
if any of you are listening out there from Winter Towing, hopefully everything gets sorted. I know you guys haven't mentioned it on your platform itself, but the news is out there. I've seen it on a lot of automotive news things on YouTube, so I figured might as well just cover it here because he is a towing company and he is part of this roadside service in the States, and people do it. So if you are someone who is doing something, even not even to the extent, try to limit it and put a stop to it. I know it's hard to quit cold turkey, but come on.
Or just know they're watching. Know they're looking into it, and don't get yourself caught into it. Right?
Yeah, I've known drivers that have almost extorted money out of customers for stuff like that. Well, your roadside's not going to cover it, but if you shoot me a couple $100 or whatever, I'll just cover it anyways. Like some real shady shit, which is just horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Don't cover it or charge your retail rates. Do what you got to do, but don't take advantage in a vulnerable.
Yeah, it's just not right. Not right at all.
Absolutely. So speaking of not right, want your opinion on something, G?
Oh boy.
This is something we've all wanted to do before. Some of you probably have. Most of you
last week,
I hope, would frown upon it. Towing in neutral. And what I mean by that, there's a lot to this, right? First, we're going to talk standard cars. Standard front-wheel drive Honda Civic, towing it backwards in neutral, right? What's your views on it? What are you doing? Doing it, not doing it?
So anything that doesn't have a transmission cooler can technically have wheels on their ground. Now, with that being said, because the transmission, well, if it doesn't have a trans cooler, then what else is cooling the transmission?
Okay.
Right? So obviously it's got to circulate the transmission fluid itself, right? It's a sealed unit. You're not going to overheat it. That's what I've always been taught. In this instance, a front wheel drive Honda Civic, front tires on the ground, I'm not liking that too much because you're towing the car backwards to begin with, right? Now, if it's a rear wheel drive pickup truck and you're towing it with the rear tires on the ground, I feel that's a little bit better, because I don't have to worry about that stick bouncing around in a direction that it's not normally bouncing around in. And that's another thing. If it's a sloppy stick, I don't want that thing to bounce into gear going down the road, especially if it with it on the back of a wrecker. You know those vehicles bounce around a fair bit. If it's an automatic with it running with its drive tires on the ground, I've done that with a motorhome going across town, going to a tire shop. I was like, I can pull out your drive shaft or I can leave it running in neutral because the tire shop's not going to put your drive shaft back in. Right? Stuff like that.
All right. Let me ask you. You're towing that motorhome across town, say 10 kilometers, within that range. Thing stalls out. Customer complains after training slip, and you paying for it?
So, with that being said, to be honest with you, like blatantly obvious, I highly doubt, like without a fraction of doubt, towing 10 kilometers is going to do any damage to any transmission that's in decent condition to begin with. Especially if it's cold, it's not going to get hot enough to cause any damage within 10 kilometers intact. It just, I think it's physically impossible unless there's already a fault in that transmission.
But that's the thing. That's where companies get caught, and that's where drivers get caught.
Yeah.
It is easy for somebody to already have slipping.
Yeah.
Something like that happened, blame it on that. It's too easy. Yeah. It's just way too easy. So no, I'm a big believer. I had perfect example. We talked about it, towing cars to local high schools and stuff like that. I had a Mazda 3 that I was towing to like a local high school. Nosed in, rear flat, just one of those pain in the ass cars. And it's going, I don't think they sell these cars, and it was probably going like 6 kilometers. Would have been so easy to just tow it through town and new backwards. Not going to burn, by your logic, I'm not going to burn up a transmission.
Yeah.
But it looks bad. It looks terrible. You know, we see all these social media posts and you hate those guys that are just looking. Any slight mistake, seeing it more and more. And I think it's only going to get worse. For your company to have made, for them to nail you to the cross. Give them the ammunition. By towing that car in neutral with the front tires on the ground, all I'd be doing is giving the competition ammunition. Do it right. Throw it up on dollies. Turn it around if you have to. Air up the back tire. Whatever you want to do. You and I both know you see something going down the road backwards. Little Mazda 3 with the front wheels on the ground. I don't think you have to be, you know, you have to know something about cars, but you sit there and you go, that's not right. And no one knows the story of this car. They don't know that it's going to possibly a scrapyard. It's going to they don't know the story. All they see is that tow truck, you know, chain slinging, dragging, whatever the hell you're doing, this car down the road, and they think that you will do the exact same thing to their car.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and I've also been in that position where I've showed up after someone's seen something like that. I just did a tow. That's why I'm so late here today. I showed up to tow a F-150. The guy wanted a bed, and I showed him up in a wrecker, and he was like, "Who are you with?" And I told him my company. He's like, "Oh, okay. I guess I can trust you." I went to high school with the owner. I was like, cool, the owner's never around. But anyways, he was like, "You got dollies on that thing?" I was like, "Yeah." "Why are you asking?" He was like, "Well, it's 4-wheel drive." I was like, "Okay. Have you ever seen us tow these pickup trucks before?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Have you ever seen one of these pickup trucks on dollies before?" And he's like, "I can't say I have." I was like, "You leave the front end on the ground and it rolls free in 2-wheel drive high. Never had an issue with it before." And he was like, "Oh, okay. There you go." Just because I was able to explain to him what we've always done at this company, he was comfortable because I was professional and I wasn't a dick, but I just asked the question of, why did you request this? Like, under what information do you have of previously of why you're requesting this equipment?
That's interesting, because the only vehicle that I will tow 4x4 with wheels on the ground, and you know this, is a GM.
Yeah.
GMs have the manual transfer, or not even the manual transfer case. You can do it with the automatics. You can neutral the transfer case and leave the back tires on the ground with the truck in park. Main trick, truck in park, not too high and neutral and any of this stuff. Park and in neutral.
Yep.
And you tow these things. And the only reason that the GM is the one I'll do it in is because if you look in the owner's manual of a GM, it'll explain how to do it, and it'll tell you that it's safe to do so. Because Ford, I can believe I've checked it over. I'm 99% sure will tell you that you can't do what you did.
Now, the newer Fords, we had a printout going over at the company we worked for together. It was the new body style, but like 2018, I guess it was. Anything that had, like the pickup trucks that had the auto 4-wheel drive, you put your foot on the brake with the ignition and the accessories, or the on position but not running, shift the truck to neutral, go from 2-wheel drive high to 4 low, back and forth on the knob 5 times within 7 seconds. That'll neutralize everything. You could put the truck back in park, pick it up from the front, and leave the rear tires on the ground and carry the fuck on.
Never been able to do it.
I've done it multiple times. And if it doesn't have the 4-wheel drive auto, make sure it's in 2-wheel drive, pick it from the ass, and away you go. Strap the steering wheel. Make sure to strap the steering wheel.
I'm grabbing every Ford with dollies. I will not.
Yes, this is not towing advice. This is not gospel. Don't say, "I learned it from the Towing Life podcast. Now the front end of that truck's in the ditch over there." Don't do that. Please.
That is pretty reasonable. That is very reasonable. No, the GM is the one, neutral the transfer case, put it in park, pick it up from the front. And like you said, explain it to the customers. I go, look, you know, here's your keys, because it's in park. I can take the keys out of the ignition. Here's your keys. Back wheels are rolling. How'd you do that? Well, let me explain to you. The rear axle's spinning. The rear diff is spinning. It's self-lubricated. The shaft is spinning up to the transfer case. Transfer case is spinning. It's self-lubricated. But the transmission is not. The transmission is the only thing that requires engine running or fluid running to lubricate it. And it's not spinning. Because if it was spinning, it would hit the parking pin. Either that or I sheared off your parking pin. I have yet to shear off a parking pin on one. And always remember to do it with the truck not running, because it makes a awful, god awful sound when you throw
Oh.
it in the park if it's running after you neutral the transfer case. And then the customer has lost all trust in you touching that thing.
Yeah. Now, with that said, all these vehicles that I tow, anytime I leave tires on the ground, I always make sure that the vehicle is in park, right? Because if you've got any doubt in your mind, that is the first thing to say, hey, or if a tire locks up or anything, because when you pick it up, I always lift it up a couple inches off the ground and slide it all the way as forward as I can without touching the tailboard to the bumper. Make sure the tires roll first before you chain anything down, because I'm a lazy prick. And if it's going to work, I want to make sure it's going to work the first time.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, the company I work for, and I know a lot of other companies out there, tow pickup trucks with the front tires on the ground all the time. The Dodge pickup trucks, Chevs, Fords.
There was something in the Dodge that the front diffs didn't like spinning in reverse at higher speed. I thought there was something with them. You weren't supposed to rear tow them with the four-wheel drives at the front ends on the ground. I'd have to look more into that.
I can't say I've ever had an issue with that myself. Knock on fucking wood. Definitely towed. I became lazy, and I've also gotten fatter since I worked with you, because the company we worked together dollied everything. Like literally everything went on dollies. And the company I work for now, it's a little more laxed on slinging dollies.
Scary. Scary is all I'm going to say.
Damage claims don't really happen, though. We've never really had a damage claim because something wasn't dollied that should have been.
Well, if that's working for you, then great. I hope it never catches up with you. Experience says it will, right? Statistics say that it will catch up with you eventually. But no, when it comes to the trucks and all that, obviously there's difference when it comes to the 4x4s and everything else, guys. Use your best judgment. There is applications out there. Tow Spec is a perfect one. I don't know if you use it, G. Tow Spec, free to use. I don't even think you need a login anymore. I thought you needed a login. You can run it without it. Towspec.com. You type in the year, make, and model. It'll tell you if they come in all-wheel drives, front-wheel drives. It'll give you jacking points, but it'll also give you ways to neutral different things. It'll also tell you what to look out for on vehicles.
Not sponsored, by the way.
What's that?
Not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored. If you or anyone from TowSpec are listening, feel free to reach out to us. I think you have a great product. I use it anyways, but hey, why not?
Also, just for any of you listening out there, while you're probably calling that phone number, which once again is 249-666-2209, saying, oh, you're fat and lazy and don't like slinging dollies. I was the one who grabbed dollies and put them on my flatbed specifically to do a double down to another town, Toyota Matrix that had a rear fucked tire with a pickup truck on the bed, just so I didn't have to make two trips. I'm not afraid of slinging dollies. It's just if I don't need to, I don't. Which, work smart, not hard, right? As long as it's not affecting your bank balance or your company's image because you're getting damage claims.
We talked to Cass last week. She's the one that said use your equipment as your workout. Don't look at it as slinging dollies. Look at it as an opportunity. Get some exercise.
Yeah.
So, guys, that is about it for today. We have obviously touched some stuff. I feel like we might get a little hate for the neutraling, but want to hear your stories. Want to hear your, what your views on it, what you were trained, what you were shown, because it seems to vary from region to region, country to country, and company to company. So let us know, what your thoughts, what you tow, what you've had problems with, what you've looked out for, and what you've had no problems with. Reach out to us. You can give us a call, like G just said, at 249-666-2209. Email us at thetowinglife@gmail.com, or visit at the Towing Life Podcast on Facebook, or even visit our website. Guys, we're everywhere. Right? www.towinglife.ca. We are everywhere. You will find us on Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube. If you can listen to music or podcasts on it, we are on it. So be sure to drop reviews on the Facebook page as well. I've seen that we've got a couple that came in. One was hating on an ad. Second one was loving the show so far. So be sure to check us out, guys. Drop comments on the YouTube. Drop comments on the Facebook. Everything helps the algorithm, helps us get out there more. Helps us appeal to more people, bring in more supporters. Don't forget, if you'd like to become a supporter on the show, you can find that as well on the website, www.towinglife.ca.
We've got some big things coming next year. Are we doing an episode next week in between Christmas and New Year's?
I think we'll sneak one in. We're running late on recording this one, but I think we'll find time to sneak it in somehow. And
it's not a definite. Not a definite.
If you do not hear us the week between Christmas and New Year's, you will understand why if you don't see an episode coming out, but we will do our hardest to make sure we get one out. If not, we will see you guys in the new year.
We're currently recording this almost like 24 hours before the episode goes live. Work, towing schedules just haven't added up. But with that said, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy your Christmas while listening to the Towing Life podcast. With that said, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you maybe next week, possibly in the new year. Bye for now.
Take care.